Arrests are made in relation to the Courtyard Apartments armed robbery.
And spring break wraps up with snowfall.
These stories and more on Carolina News Today. Last month, we told you about an armed robbery at Courtyard Apartments. This week, we learned that 2 arrests have been made in that case. Eric Elliott and Desmond Clark of Fayetteville are charged with 1 count each of first-degree burglary and robbery with a dangerous weapon. They are each under a $30,000 bond. According to campus police, the identity of the 3rd suspect is still unknown. If you have any information regarding the crime, contact campus police at 910-521-6235.
North Carolinians woke up Sunday to the predicted snowfall after a week of temperatures in the 70s. Although it did not stick around long, this was the first measurable snow we had in March in the last 3 years. People seemed okay with it because it didn't accumulate.
My initial reaction was excitement. I'm not really used to waking up to snow falling, so it was cool waking up to that this morning.
You know, yesterday it was nice and warm, but I was really busy, so I was like, tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, we'll go out for a walk, and I woke up and my girlfriend's like, it's snowing, and I'm like, well, I still gotta go.
We asked faculty who teach on the topics of weather and climate to explain this untimely weather pattern. Here's geologist Amy Gross.
It has to do with the jet stream. Jet streams are upper level airflows, basically rivers of air higher up in the atmosphere, and we are most often affected by the polar jet stream here in the United States. And the polar jet stream, what has happened here recently is that it has dipped down, bringing us cold air, not just from Canada. We often in the wintertime are going to get cold air from Canada brought down with the dips in the jet stream. We actually had Arctic air that was brought down by a dip in the jet stream this time.
A ribbon cutting at the University Center's Hawk Nest this week celebrated some recent renovations and improvements, including upgrades to the bowling lanes. The lanes were brought up to industry standards by upgrading to synthetic flooring, and the lounge area was carpeted. At the celebration, they had giveaways every hour, free food including cake, and free bowling and pool all day. They have also introduced a new program where students, faculty, and staff can collect points to earn discounts in the Hawk's Nest.
The state of North Carolina is withdrawing from a federal lawsuit they joined during the McCrory administration. 24 states are suing to prevent enforcement of the Clean Power Plan. The plan requires reductions in carbon dioxide emissions from power plants. North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Stein says investing in clean energy instead will create jobs and help to combat climate change.
The North Carolina Department of Commerce has announced the latest grant recipients for film and television production in the state. The 2nd season of TNT's series, Good Behavior, will return to the greater Wilmington area. American Animals is a feature film about the heist of a rare manuscript that was shot in Charlotte. An Audi commercial will also shoot in Charlotte this year. The projects are expected to create about 2,000 related job opportunities and generate $46 million in direct spending.
UNCP is helping students get their daily fruits and vegetables. CNT producer Savannah Thompson tells us more.
The dining services at UNCP is bringing a monthly farmers market to campus. The first farmers market was held on the first day of March outside the UC from 11 to 2 p.m. They had locally grown fruits and vegetables along with local folk food salsas and mustards. They also had Smith family sauces and glazes and Snuffy's barbecue sauce. The weather really helped the turnout of the event. UNCP student Alexandria Bear enjoyed looking at the farmers market because it was a nice day outside.
I think it's a great day to do the farmers market. There's a lot of people walking around going to class, and lots of viewers are checking out the honey and the strawberries and the fresh vegetables.
Sodexo had an open display of their fruits and vegetables so students could easily browse through the farmers market in between class. Supervisor of the dining hall, Shawnee Henderson, said the main reason they brought the farmers market on campus was to help students and the community have more accessibility to fruits and vegetables so they don't have to travel very far.
It's our Fresh Point, which is who we use here at Sodexo at UNCP. They bring out fresh produce only made in North Carolina, different fruits and vegetables, glazes and peanuts locally here. And we want to give the community and the students the opportunity to actually visit a fresh market here instead of having to go off campus when they're not from here.
For Carolina News Today, I'm Savannah Thompson.
A ceremony Saturday in Fayetteville will mark the renaming of portions of State Route 24 as the Gold Star Highway. The dedication takes place at the Airborne and Special Ops Museum at 10:30 in the morning. The symbol of the Gold Star came from the tradition of hanging a service flag with a gold star on it and a window to represent family members who were killed in armed services. Representatives from the North Carolina Department of Transportation and Department of Military and Veteran Affairs will speak at the event with the Gold Star mother and widow.
UNC System President Margaret Spellings says a bipartisan compromise to repeal HB2 could mean national athletic events and conferences could return to the state. Her administration is in the process of analyzing the new legislation and will advise state lawmakers on how it impacts the UNC system. House Bill 186 would allow cities to pass their own non-discrimination ordinances, but they would not be allowed to tell private businesses how to regulate bathroom access. House Bill 2 got a lot of publicity over its bathroom ordinance, but that law also meant that people could not sue in state courts if they faced workplace discrimination.
The North Carolina Department of Transportation gets new board members, and they're also promoting safe driving during daylight savings time. Here's NCDOT now.
Welcome to this week's edition of NCDOT Now. I'm Robert Broom. Several new members of the North Carolina Board of Transportation were sworn in this week, bringing with them years of experience as well as a commitment to service to our great state. The North Carolina Board of Transportation makes decisions about statewide transportation priorities and funding allocations. There are 19 members of the board, 14 represent NCDOT's geographical divisions, while 5 at-large members represent specific interest areas. These areas are state ports and aviation, rural transportation, mass transit, government-related finance and accounting, and the environment. Governor Roy Cooper appointed the new board members. They will serve 4-year terms and will work with NCDOT employees to make important decisions about transportation priorities. The board elected Michael S. Fox of Greensboro as its chair and Nina Schlossberg-Landis as vice chair.
We'd like to work with all of our DOT staff to deliver projects on time and on budget, and also improve the safety on all of our modes of transportation, as well as reduce congestion and make people's lives better in North Carolina.
More information about the board and its members can be found at ncdot.gov/about/board. Daylight saving time begins Sunday, which means cyclists, drivers, and pedestrians need to be alert during the morning commute. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reports the change in time causes drowsy drivers to have more than 100,000 crashes each year. The administration also estimates that the dark early morning commute results in more than 1,500 deaths and 40,000 injuries per year. Here are some tips to keep safe when you spring forward. For drivers, get adequate sleep before driving and take a break every 2 hours on long trips. Bring a passenger with you to share time behind the wheel. Be aware of medications that could cause drowsiness. Look for bicyclists and pedestrians along the roadway. For bicyclists and pedestrians, wear brightly colored clothing with fluorescent or reflective gear. When riding at sunrise, bicyclists are now required to have a light on the front that can be seen 100 yards away and have a red lamp or mirror on the back. Cyclists should drive in the same direction as vehicles. And to see oncoming drivers, pedestrians should walk facing traffic and walk in crosswalks where they are more visible. That's all for this week's edition of NCDOT Now. As always, we invite you to keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter. That's at NCDOT. And from all of us at the North Carolina Department of Transportation, safe travels.
UNCP track and field dominates in its home opener.
And men's basketball makes their 4th appearance in the NCAA tournament.
Deja Dykes up next with sports.
UNC-Pembroke's Blaze Shade finished second at the NCDOT National Championship last weekend. Shade grabbed an early lead with a takedown but was beaten by undefeated Nick Beaker in the 8-4 decision win. Shade finishes his career as a Brave with 124 wins, 29 losses, and 3 All-American honors and 20 trips to the podium. With his help, the Braves collected 15 points to place 25th out of 42 teams at the event. UNCP Wrestling also earned its 8th straight top 25 finish to end the season. The UNCP track and field teams opened their outdoor portion of their schedule earlier this month at the Braves Track Classic. Pembroke registered 16 event titles and 13 runner-up finishes, coming out on top for the men's and women's team. On the women's side, 5 athletes took event titles, including Gianna Cube, who received top honors in the 100-meter and long jump. For the men, 9 athletes took event titles, including newcomer Salas Kipkoek, who was the top runner-up in the 1,000 and 5,000 meter. The Braves will travel to Mount Olive on March 17th to compete in the Trojan Challenge. In golf, the Lady Braves carded a 327 in the final round to fall into a 10th place finish at the Armstrong State Invitational. Freshman Megan Monroe fired the team's best round of the day with a 5 over 77 to finish 30th in a 65-player field. The Braves will host the Sunoco Campbell Oil Classic on March 27th and 28th at the River Landing Golf Club in Wallace, North Carolina. 64 basketball teams got their tickets punched to the big dance. But fans, your work doesn't have to suffer while you follow your brackets. CNN's Mary Maloney explains why March Madness can make you more productive at work.
Getting caught up in March Madness? You're not alone. According to a survey from staffing firm Office Team, 66% of employees say talking about or even celebrating sporting events at work can boost morale and may help you bond with the boss.
It's a great opportunity for people to gather around in the kitchen or the break room, and you learn more about people that you wouldn't normally talk to all around this big type of events like March Madness.
If you do talk brackets in the office, remember, you still have to be productive and professional.
Not everybody loves to participate, so while you can build camaraderie and include others, certainly you want to ask them whether or not they want to participate and engage people that maybe are a little bit shyer or don't know much about sports. But you also don't want to be a poor sport. You really have to maintain a level of professionalism.
In Division II, the opening round of the NCAA tournament last weekend saw the Peach Belt champion Braves face off against second-seeded Limestone College. The Braves battled back from an early double-digit deficit to take the lead after halftime, but the Saints shot better than 61% from the perimeter to cruise past the Braves 100-85. The Braves finished their season with 24 victories in their third 20-plus win season under head coach Ben Miller. In women's basketball, the Lady Braves fell short at the Peach Belt quarterfinals when they played against Clayton State. The Black and Gold closed out the first quarter with the lead, but the Lakers fought back with a 20-4 run to dominate the Braves 72-49. The Braves, down by 14, were unable to cut the deficit to single digits again after the half. The Lady Braves ended their season with a new record of 11 consecutive wins at home. The softball team pushed their losing streak to 8 this past weekend when they saw a combined 14 errors in series play. Home teams Augusta and Georgia College swept the Rays in each matchup. The Lady Braves came out strong in the games against Augusta, racking up a total of 20 hits, but 7 unearned runs from the Jaguars secured the sweep. Georgia College also turned in unearned runs against the Braves with a total of 9 to end the Braves' weekend series loss. The UNCP baseball team lost their second series matchup last weekend when they played Peach Belt foe Augusta. The Braves came back from a 5-7 loss in the first game to even out the weekend series. Pembroke played an unearned run on Ethan Balcom's grounder that led to an unearned run in the attempt to take the victory. The Black and Gold opened the third game scoring first on the board, but the Jaguars answered with 4 runs and 7 hits. In the 6th, Augusta played an insurance run to secure the 11-2 win to close out the series. The Braves will be back at home for 8 consecutive games when they play Georgia College. This month is National Athletic Training Month, an awareness and motivational program sponsored by the National Athletic Trainers Association. Athletic trainers are specially trained healthcare professionals whose responsibilities are to take care of athletes across the nation and to promote safety at an early age with student athletes. So don't forget to show your appreciation to our athletic trainers here on campus this month. And that's it for me. Back to the studio.
While we were on spring break, UNCP celebrated their 130th anniversary of the school's founding.
The school was founded back in 1887 to educate Indians of Robeson County who wanted to become teachers.
As Chancellor Cummings says, that's 130 years of changing lives through education.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.